Welcome back, and today we're going to talk about the difference between a custom value and a custom field, because most of the time clients get confused, and I completely get it. It can be confusing sometimes, and I'm just going to run through exactly how you can understand it in a much deeper way, so it will actually enable you, hopefully, because you understand your business very well and you over time want to optimize your system. When you understand how these work, it can make it really easy to then work with us to optimize your system moving forward, to make it better and better at converting your customers. And the reason why is that when it comes to providing a personalized experience for your business and your clients, data, and we call it third-party data, so data about your customer, really improves the personalization of the journey that your customer goes through. And whilst on that topic, that is what a custom field is. And your custom value is for really just making things faster to edit on the back end, usually. So let me just draw a diagram to make that really simple to understand, because it's quite confusing, as I said, sometimes. So you can always split a custom field and a custom value into two distinct areas in terms of, if you are thinking to yourself, when do custom values get used and when do custom fields get used, the first thing you want to ask yourself is this question: who's involved in the process of giving that information? Is it me, the business owner, or is it them, your customers or your leads or your prospects, whatever it may be? So let's draw this out. You have the front end, and then you have the back end. The back end is your platform, what you see, and the front end is your customers, your leads, your prospects, whoever it may be, they see. Most of the time, the custom field, right, is what they see. It's what they input to give you. And I'll show you what I mean in a second. Custom value is what you put in. Now let me walk you through some examples. If I want to capture some data on a customer to make it easier to personalize their journey for them, I'm always going to probably use a custom field. Now what do I mean by that? A form. With forms, you might ask your users a bunch of questions, and they go through a form, right, with all these questions. That is a custom field, because it's linked. Each question is linked to a custom field within their profile. Okay? So when you go into your contact form, if they fill in a form, you'll see their data that they submitted through your form in their profile, because you're capturing it in a field. Okay? And again, I'll show what I mean by that in a second. And the reason why you want to capture third-party data in custom fields is you can take all this information here, right, feed it to our system. And what that means is that when you have AI interaction or any sort of system interaction with your leads, they have context. The most powerful thing right now. And that turns a very basic system into a very powerful system, because it means your leads now understand, your company now understands the differences between, one person to another. So if, as I said before, you have a business and you ask them a set of questions, 9 times out of 10, one lead, prospect or customer is going to give you a different set of answers to each set of questions. So you need to understand them, or the AI will need to understand them in order to personalize that journey. This is what custom fields are for. So as a business owner, when you're thinking, how can I improve maybe the user journey when they first come to my brand? Maybe I can ask them some deeper questions that will get make the business understand them better. Make the AI get even deeper into personalizing their journey for them. The better the question, the better the context for AI, the better the output, right? And obviously we set those up for you. And so that's really 99.9% of the time why you're using a custom field, or why we use custom fields, is that when I go into the back end of this and I go to custom fields, you will see, like, for example, Here, survey qualification, so it's an opt-in form. It's a form, right? And it's asking what your biggest business challenge right now. Or, for example, how long have you been operating for? These are questions we ask as an agency, but then the questions you ask as a service business are different. But the framework and the thought process is still the same. We ask these questions so that we can serve you better and provide context for our AI to serve you better in terms of the communication. Similarly, you'll have questions here where we can collect them to then feed them into our AI. And that is why when we onboard you, you go through an onboarding process, because we're using those questions that you give us to put into forms, to put into specific areas of our system, so we give context to our system to provide a personalized journey for your leads, which is why we get such good conversions from our system. Now, back into the different one, custom value. The key difference between a custom value is 9 times out of 10, we input, we do it, not the customer. It's not the customer. The customer's not doing it. No. We do it. For example, let's say we have 200 emails. And in each of those emails, right, you're sending a website link. And you physically insert your website link into every single email. That means that if, for whatever reason, you want to change the direction of traffic to another, let's say you have a user here, right? Hello, right? And right now, you always send him over here to this part of the website. But now all these emails, you want to now send him to this website or this page of the website, right? If you do that without custom values, you are going to have to manually change every single link towards this one and not this one, right? This will take ages. With the custom value, what we can say, I'll show you in a second, what actually happens is, let's say you set up a custom value called website link. And you put in, your website link is x.com, whatever that link is. Actually, in your email, instead of saying, instead of here, it says, go to www. Right, and your website, is it says, go to, right, custom value website. And what that does is now when I change x.com to y.com, what ends up happening is that every single one of my 200 emails changed in a single one. Okay, so really powerful. And that's why we use custom values. Custom values are really to store, it's like a data storage for like templates. So if I just show you really quickly what that looks like for us, is, for example, we might have, let's say, the appointment booking page. So in a lot of our emails, we have the appointment booking, right? So when we send emails to people, we want them to book an appointment, they're going to a certain place. If I was to manual, put in a link, and I then change I change my calendar to a different calendar, maybe a Zoom calendar to a Google calendar, or a Zoom calendar to a Calendly link. I'm now going to have to find and remember everywhere where this link is, right? If I use a custom value and insert that custom value, which looks like this, right? Which looks like this, into my emails. If I decide to change my Zoom link that's in here, and I now go, I'm not using Zoom anymore, but I now want to put a Calendly link in, into here, done. Now all my emails have the right one. Whereas very easily, I have many clients that used to use it manually, and many times, 9 times out of 10, they missed one and they end up having people sent to 404s or the wrong thing, and it was confusing. And so that's why we use the custom value, is to simply store ourselves. We put the information in to our own system to make it just really nice and simple to manage our system in a more efficient way. Whereas your custom field is to usually capture data on the front end from the front-facing customer experience to usually increase lead intent, higher quality leads, improve the personalization of the journey, capture more information in your clients for research, so that you can then use it in the system for future context. So again, to summarize, your custom field are things that are used or made in the back end and given for the front end facing experience of your customer to give you information, third-party data, to then use it for context and for personalization and for research on your user, like surveys. And the custom value is for when the back end, we want to make things more efficient, easier to store our data, so that when we want to change the system, it automatically updates in every area of the business, so we don't miss anything. We use the custom value. Field is for data personalization, value is for cleaning, efficiency, and optimization of the storage and making sure we don't miss anything in our backend. If you have any questions, as always, what you can go ahead and do is you just hit the bottom right widget and we'll be more than happy to help you. See you in the